And what was the last book you read? Or is that cruel to even ask you that?
Never an Inch by Mike Pompeo.
Okay.
And I'm looking to buy the Naked Communist book written in the 50s that Ben Carson alluded to in his book. I want to read that book because it was basically the plan of the communists to take over America. If anybody got it, you can send it to the station.
Okay. Oh, I've had people send me books. I'm reading books about the founders, the authors of the Constitution, and their wives. I have made it through one chapter, but, when you're stressed, it's hard to focus. Yeah. But over the weekend, when I was spending some time with my family, my sisters, and my mother, I got out the book, The Magic Ball, because we had Steve Trout at our golf outing. Oh, yeah. And he gave me a copy. It's not a thick book. It's an easy read. Yeah. It's an easy read. Yes. But I gave this to my mom, and I said, hey, Louise, can you read this and just tell me what you think? I look over, and she is bawling.
Really?
Yes. And then later, because she's a slow reader, because she wants to absorb every word. Later on, that I looked at her again, I was like, you're still crying. She's like, this is such a beautiful book. And again, it's called The Magic Ball, and the author is Steve Trout, who, by the way, Steve, I want you to know that I asked for background information on you. I mean, I know you played for the Cubs and the White Sox, and you're a left-handed pitcher, and your dad also played. But our producer, Quinn McCarthy, gave me all of your stats. Do you want to plow through that first before we get to the book?
Well, first of all, I'm a big admirer of the show, I must tell you.
Oh, well, thank you.
God bless your mother. I'm so happy she got a chance to read the stories, or one of the stories that meant so much to her. That was the whole meaning of the book. But, yeah, I started with the Chicago White Sox.
Ooh.
And then, of course, I was traded to the north side Chicago Cubs. When that trade happened, I said, where the heck is Wrigley Field?
No, you're right.
I've never been there before. But playing for the White Sox, I must say, I lost 16 games. A lot of people look at that, but that year I was the 20th best pitcher in the league. So I kind of talk about that in one of my stories about not giving up, about giving it always your best, and no matter what happens, you do your best. And that's what I tried to do every time I took the ball over my 300 starts in the major leagues, 1,500 plus innings. And I loved it. Of course, I'd make a few changes during those times, but being in Chicago and a native of Chicago, South Side, South Holland, what an honor to play for both teams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many players have done that?
Oh, Sammy?
Not too many.
Oh, yeah, Sammy Sosa did. That's right. Yeah. And you?
Yeah, but he's not from here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
He's South Side of Dominican Republic.
Has there ever been another that played for both that was from?
I don't think so.
Ooh,
I'm not sure, but maybe
question.
One or two.
That's a trivia question.
All right, so how did you? How did you pair up with Rick Tielander to write The Magic Ball?
Well, as a pitcher, I always needed a little bit of relief, and I had set the stage, so to speak, for the book, and I knew I had some problems just finishing it and making it just right. And I called Rick, and I said, Rick, would you take a look at what I put together, these three wonderful stories? And he said, I love the stories, but you definitely need a little relief work.
Okay.
And I was so honored to have him, part of the Sports Writers Hall of Fame, a great writer for the Sun, come in and polish it up. And we turned it into three wonderful stories, and without Rick, it would never be the same. And just a great person to have in your covering yourself as a partner. Put it that way.
Yeah, and this isn't your first book. How many have you written?
Well, Home Plate was the first one about my dad and I, and then Loosey Goosey Baseball is about how a father. And I know most fathers are great coaches, and they mean good, but sometimes that one person can ruin it for all the kids, or it can ruin it for the other, parents watching the game. And I thought how one parent can put so much anxiety into a kid's performance, and I wrote a story about that, how that changes because the coach notices that he plays differently during practice, and it's because my dad's not watching me and putting pressure on me. And so I wrote a story called Loosey Goosey about that, and how the coach changes the father's perception, or changes him to become much more understanding of how difficult to play baseball really is.
Yeah.
And just a great story about that.
And what's the percentage of kids that make it from Little League to actually their high school varsity team?
Oh, geez, that's an interesting question. I'm more about, from high school kids that make it to the major leagues that get drafted, or college guys that make it to the major leagues that get drafted, even in what round they are picked. So a high school kid in the first round is about 18 to 22%. A college kid in the first round is around 35 to 45%. So I look at that more than, that was a good question.
Yeah, but I mean, it's rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
They make it. Yeah, I think it is, but make it, into the high school team that's a little different.
Yeah, my cousin played for the Phillies, so I definitely know. He made it. Luke Collier is a good friend of mine. I played baseball with him at CVS. But I got three quick things. I know I think I was able to hustle you out $100 at the golf tournament for Tunnels to Tower. So I appreciate you and your group for donating to Tunnels to Tower.
Well, went to a good place because I donate to T2T also.
Second thing, is that your real Facebook profile, Steve Trout, on Facebook?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, we've been friends for like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of my writing about things, I write about some politics.
Yeah,
but that's just So yes, that's probably me.
Yeah, we've been friends for like 13 years on Facebook. That's crazy.
Well, that's great, John. Yeah, I'll have to communicate to you a little more that way.
Now, here's the third thing. You ever thought about getting into coaching? We need good quality coaches in the MLB.
Well, there's a lot of people in line for that job. Jody Davis and I coached together. We did a wonderful job. That was in the Canadian Baseball League. It didn't last very long because it was in Canada and it's cold in June and so forth. But I do have a passion for coaching. That's why I put together the Magic Ball. There's three wonderful stories that are related to how a coach is, and even in Loosey Goosey, looked at as in a positive way, and the parents are as well, except for Mr. Jones and the Loosey Goosey. But he changed it because of a good coach. Yeah. Good coaches make such a big difference in a child's life.
Yes, they do.
I mean, you know this more than anybody. You have to be stern and strong, but you have to be positive and understand that each one's a little bit different.
Yeah.
The great Sparky Anderson, you pat him on the butt, some need that, or you kick him in the butt, and some need that too.
Yeah.
And there's a mixture of that.
I'll tell you, when I played baseball at CVS, I was in a world of hurt. My mom was a drug addict at that time. I was bouncing from house to house. And even though we are miles apart politically, my coach, and he knows I always give him his props, Andre Morgan and A.D. Haas over at CVS, and Coach. These were two men that really saw the potential in me. And I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand the importance of how much. And Amy, I know.
I have 5 people playing in college, boys and girls. Yeah. Because you got to help them out. You have to make the tapes. You got to make the phone calls. You got to do the work.
Yes.
And that's what.
Well, my nephew in Lawndale has Young Men's Education Network, helping kids get off the street and into the right place in their life. And you talk about John. Talk about just giving somebody a little motivation, a little bit of giving them some proper respect and so forth. And pretty soon they start having that for themselves, and you have a changed person.
Yeah, Andre Morgan taught me how to be a man. My coach, he taught me. He taught me that I had value and that I was worth. I was worthy.
Same with Terry Safone, my or sophomore volleyball coach. She gave us. I mean, she just made you. She's like, you are a child of God. You are worthy. Don't listen to outside negativity. Just believe in yourself. And she just instilled confidence. She taught me how to be confident.
Yeah,
which I will never ever forget.
That's wonderful. I thought Dallas Green did that for me as a baseball person, Dallas, when he came over from the Phillies, and also my pitching coach, Billy Connors. So we all can have someone, maybe it's a grandparent, or maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's, a best friend. They can see the differences, or they can suggest things to you that help you make those changes, and that's good. I like that.
All right, now I've been the Ricketts, Tom Ricketts and Todd Ricketts. I got to know them really well when I served in the General Assembly. They still haven't let me throw out the first ball, but that's not the question. The question is,
That's what you want in your life.
yes, throw out the first ball. Amy.
I know you're a diehard Cubs.
I
fan.
helped start the Cubs caucus in Springfield. There was no Cubs caucus in
Really?
Springfield.
Okay.
Myself and Sarah Feingold, we were the ones that came together, and Kelly Cassidy, we came together and formed the Cubs caucus. My question is, are we getting our hopes up high for this Cubs team? What do you think is going to happen? We were 3.5 games. I think we're 4.5 games now because of the last 2 games we've lost. Are we getting our hopes up too high?
Hope is what we've always put
together
with the Cubs. We hope they do good. We hope they win the series. I mean, look how funny baseball is. They go to Pittsburgh, they sweep the team. Now they might get swept today. It's just such a funny game. No, I mean, they have the vision. Tom did when he got the team in 2008. We saw the changes. Yeah. I think it's a tough thing to try to predict. But what's going to happen? They have a chance maybe if they can get real hot. But they had a great streak, as we know. Tom Ricketts is dedicated to winning. I think Jed Hoyer is as well. And the players, I think, respect the organization so much that many want to come. I know that the market of Japan is a very interesting market for the Cubs to continue to look for good ball players. Yeah. But that's something that we love the Cubs no matter what. That's the beauty of it. Many of us do.
I love Imanaga and Seiya.
Oh yeah.
And what about the White Sox? though? I mean, we watched a game the other day, and there was 17 people there. It was hot, but I mean, maybe 17 that we could see. Maybe there was people up in the suites, right? We can always.
You got a good chance of getting a souvenir ball.
I know it was, but I mean, don't you, as a former player with the White Sox, doesn't it break your heart?
Oh, it does, because the South Side people love their baseball, and they deserve good baseball, and that's a big part of their life. The White Sox. Let's face it. That they're dedicated to that team like the Cub fans are to the Cubs. Yeah, and I'd love to see something change with the ownership, and maybe it's possible the locations it's a difficult location, but it's more about ownership and what needs to be done to put the players on the field.
You said the Little League teams. I'm sorry, Scott. I'm gonna call out a few people. Scott, Ron, and and Chad. I'm sorry. These are former legislators who just love their White Sox, the Little League team, but I'm so sorry. I love seeing it, but yeah.
So Steve, are you still running camps, baseball camps?
Well, I do a summer camp, and I do some individual coaching. I had a camp in St. John, Indiana. I'll be moved to South Holland next summer. So yeah, I still love to do that kind of coaching. I love young baseball. I love recreational ball. I want to try to take a kid who can't throw to teach him how to throw. And a kid who can't hit, teach him how to hit. I like that. That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
All right. How can we get the magic ball and Loosey Goosey?
Well, Amazon, type in Steve Trout, and then you'll see that the book is also recommended by the great Bob Costas. 29 Emmys, 12 Olympics that he hosted, and he's put his name on the cover of the book. So I was really proud to have Bob Costas love it so much, and your mom to love it so much, and others to enjoy the 3 great stories that you'll hold forever.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve Trout. I'll see you later today, right?
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to it, Amy and John. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Great stories about you, too.
Go Cubs.
God bless. And Steve Trout joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay. Can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.